What's up, guys? Horror Man back for another review. So today we're going to take a look at the Beast Kingdom The Flash Batman. Now, as you can see, this says DAH-092 Batman Modern Suit. So I don't know if they have another one coming out, but so far this is the only Batman we've seen from The Flash. Just taking a look at the packaging, pretty much what you'd expect from Beast Kingdom. You do have a nice open window showing the figure, but it's a little fogged, it's a little tough to see, but you can see the figure inside and all the different accessories that come with him. You get the Flash logo at the top, Batman logo at the bottom. It's that classic Batman Returns logo, and of course same thing on this side. And then over to the back you get some really nice images of the figure itself and a little description about the dynamic action heroes. So pretty cool looking figure. Let's go ahead and get this out of the box and have a closer look. Alright, so now that he's out of the box, let's go ahead and start by taking a nice close-up of that head sculpt. And in all honesty, this is really what drew me to this figure. In my opinion, it's the best Batman head sculpt from The Flash so far. Now, of course, that Hot Toys version is probably going to be better than this one, but you know, it's $350 and sold out. So, but so far, this is definitely the best I've seen so far. I really think they captured the look of Keaton, and I mean, you really do get a couple nice close-ups of him in the movie. There's like a specific close-up when he's in the Batwing, along with both versions of the Flash, and you know, it's daylight, so you could really see what Keaton looks like in this cowl. And I really think they've captured it really well. You could see the aging in the face, and the only part of the face you can see. It's just that lower jaw. You could definitely tell it's Keaton. But again, you could really see like a little bit of the wrinkles and the aging. Obviously, he's not the youngest Batman we've ever had. But you can still tell it's Keaton. And I think they did a really nice job with the face. And the eyes look really good. Just a really exceptional head sculpt, in my opinion. One of the big things that really drew me to this, besides the face sculpt looking really good, is that the cowl is all one piece. And that's a huge deal for me with Batman figures, specifically movie Batman figures, and even more specifically, Keaton movie Batman figures. One thing that a lot of companies will do is they'll put this weird head sculpt right around the neck. And yes, you do get articulation, but what you end up looking like is basically like a lollipop head. Like these characters look like their head is on a stick. It just doesn't look right. So when you sculpt it more movie accurate, where the cowl is that all one piece, it just looks so much better, in my opinion. Another thing I like about the cowl is that you could tell that it's not like all part of his face. A lot of times these companies will sculpt the cowl like he's not wearing a mask, like he is a bat. And the way Beast Kingdom's done it, you can see how the eyes, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly in this camera, but the eyes are very set back, and it really gives the illusion that yes, he is wearing a cowl. So again, it's a really nice sculpting on that. I will say the eyes kind of look up just a little bit. I kind of wish they were centered just a little bit better, but it's a very minor complaint. Just one more shot of the cowl from the back, and you can see again, yes, it is all one piece to the sculpt. There are some like little sculpted details of the lines kind of going from the front to the back, but it's not like a split in the cowl or anything. Taking a look at the rest of the details here, starting with the torso. The symbol on his chest looks really good. It's very clean, unlike we've seen from other companies. But of course, again, it is that Batman Returns logo that we've seen for many years. And it's a really nice representation of it. Again, I really like it. I think it's cleanly done. The yellow is nice. Don't really see any bleeding at all. The details in the outfit are, of course, are much different than Batman Returns and '89 Batman. He's a bit more like armored looking, which I can understand because, you know, he's an aging Batman, so you really can't run around in just like spandex or leather. It looks like he does have a lot of armor plating on it. And if you've seen the movie, the cape, of course, works as kind of like bulletproof, and the outfit itself seemed pretty bulletproof as well. But I do like all the different lines on here. You can see the abs kind of sculpted in the outfit. Different lines on the sides kind of like match up with the lines in the cowl, but they really do look good. The belt itself is a loose piece, and unfortunately they didn't use like a gold or yellow. It is accurate to the movie, but I do wish they would have went with a yellow or kind of gold belt like we saw in '89 and Returns. So that's one thing I don't really like about this outfit. Now the piece itself is that loose material. It's not like sculpted. It's just like a little kind of soft plastic piece. And then you do have a bunch of these silver pieces in here and some different silver details going on, which looks really nice. The gauntlets look pretty good. You do have some sculpting on those gauntlets, just like some different line work. Again, just like the rest of the outfit. And you can see like the kind of sharper like blades on here, which looks really nice. But yeah, some really nice details in the gloves as well. And I do think the armor like on the shoulders and the arms really is reminiscent of like that Dark Knight outfit, Dark Knight Rises, where he kind of has all those different plates. But those shoulders specifically really remind me of the Dark Knight. And then again with the outfit, how like the lines kind of translate from the cowl. It also comes down to like the chest armor, and then you can see on the sides he has that same kind of design, just kind of keeping with the look of the outfit. Alright, and then finally down to the legs. Again, just those same kind of sculpted lines that you see with the cowl and the upper torso. You can see like these different kind of panels and different sculpting coming down to the outfit, different lines. Kind of breaks up, instead of like just the smooth kind of leather, it's again more of like this kind of armor, almost like an armor plating is what it looks like. And then the knees, you can see he has these really big kind of knee guards. I love the boots. The boots are the one thing that has pretty much been unchanged since '89. I mean, they look pretty much exactly like the 1989 boots, and I am totally happy with that. You can see like that guard that goes over the front. And if, for people that don't know, these were like Nikes that he was wearing, so really cool to see them still stick with that. There is some different tread on the bottom of the feet. No peg holes, but he stands pretty good. The cape is not bad, but it's not great. So if you're one of those people that just kind of wants to display it like this, where the cape is behind him and you can see the armor really well, you'll love this because it actually displays really well this way. Now you do get a wire in this cape, so you can, you know, probably if you try enough, you can probably get it to stand in like a blowing pose. And you could do the same, you know, on the other side. You can get the big wire there, and then when you combine them both, you can get it pretty much like that. Alright, so that's about as big as you could spread that cape out. And just to show you from the back, that's about it. Now unfortunately, even though you get the wires on the sides, you don't get anything else. So you really can't like crumple this cape up and get it in those crazy blowing poses. Well, you might be able to, but not as detailed, and it's not going to hold very well. So as soon as, you know, a little bit of resistance or just a little bit of wind, depending on where you're shooting pictures, it's probably going to, you know, get out of shape. So yeah, I mean, you can still, you know, kind of get it in the Batman type pose, but yeah, it just won't stay, you know, it'll start to fall. So, I don't know, the biggest problem for me with this cape, for one, is when you start to adjust it a little bit, it might cover the front of this symbol, like, you know, it comes down like this. So that's kind of annoying, but the real problem for me is that you really can't get this cape, like, to drape around the character, because you get this weird, you know, bubble shoulder look going on, and it's because of the way they did that wire. So you can't get a really good draped Batman pose because of those shoulders, and you can see the symbols starting to get covered up a little bit. So yeah, that's like the best like draped bat pose I can get for you, which is kind of lame. So maybe from a different angle, nah, it still looks bad. So yeah, so the cape, it's okay. It's just, It needed a lot more wires to really make it look great. I really wish they would have gave us like this wired cape and then a draped cape with no wire. But unfortunately, that's not the case with this. All right, so taking a look at the articulation here. As we already talked about, you really can't do too much with the head sculpt, mainly just going to twist it. You can move it up and down a little bit, but you're going to move most of it by moving like the upper body. The arms can go all the way up, which is good. They can go all the way down. And then you do get a really nice double hinged elbow. You do have rotation at the bicep. Because of the shoulders, you have to go up a little bit to get those to go, but they will go pretty high. Gives you a nice T-pose, not perfectly out because of that shoulder armor. I really do love this arm articulation because you could get that put your dukes up pose pretty damn good. So yeah, you can rotate the wrists. Oh no. Okay, yeah, so they do bend pretty good. But yeah, just really nice articulation in his arms. Now, we talked about the torso a little bit. You can move the upper part really well, so you can look up better and go down better. And then you can actually kind of angle it, like angle it down and left, and then it turns too. So if you want to try to get a walking pose, you should be able to do that. And then the waist turns as well. It's a little squeaky, but the waist turns as well. So once you combine that, you can definitely do more with the articulation, even though you don't have it in that head sculpt. Combining the angle too, like how you can tilt it, works really good too. And then just use this belt to cover up that articulation gap. The legs will come out about that far in a split, but if you drop them down, you can see how it drops down here. You can go out farther. A perfect split almost. And then, again, drop down that leg. You can get a better kick. So if you want to do that karate kick, got a pretty good kick going on. Got the double hinge knee, which is awesome. Articulation of foot is really good. You can move that foot out pretty far. You can't go in much because of that. You can rotate the thigh. I love that there's no cut to break up the sculpt. That's really nice. Rotate the foot. There is an ankle rocker. It's not great, but it's definitely there. And then there is toe articulation, kind of like the McFarlane. So, but overall, just really good articulation. I mean, again, I love the articulation elbows. He looks great. All right, so taking a look at the interchangeable parts here, you do get 4 sets of interchangeable hands. Now, on him inside the box, he has a set of fisted hands, which the fisted hand is pictured here. You also have a batarang or a shuriken holding hand. You have this kind of grabbing type of hand. Then you have this fully relaxed hand. So again, 4 sets of hands. All right, so taking a look at the accessories, unfortunately this is going to be one of those things about this figure that's not the greatest. But it's kind of par of the course for most of these Michael Keaton Batman figures. You pretty much always get the same accessories. So the first accessory you get is a shuriken. You can see it's kind of gold and silver. It's mostly just gold in the center with a silver blade. You get 3 of those. I did put them in one of those hands that's a little bit more closed. It's kind of like the fist. And you can just kind of poke the blade in there to get him to hold it. And then I have him holding 2 other ones in the other hand. But you can see he does come with 3 of these shurikens. Here he is holding his classic batarang, which looks really good. I do love that this is just a little bit bigger than the usual batarangs we get. Now, one thing about this one, as you can see, you do get that little metal circle on the end, and there's a rope around it. So if you want to kind of tie up your victim or throw it around his leg and pull him over, just like the '89 movie, you could definitely do that. So it's pretty cool that it has the string. It is a little tougher to grip the entire thing with the string still wrapped around it. So if you want, you can either cut that off or you could just unwrap it. But it is cool to have that option. And here he is with this little silver communicator looking doohickey. I'm not even sure what this is, to be honest with you. But it does have some pretty good detail, and it does fit in his hand pretty well. I know in like the old movie, he would like talk to the Batmobile with this. He'd say like shields or something like that. So I think it's something of that nature, but I'm really not sure exactly what it is. So maybe you guys know, you can leave a comment in the section below. But it's kind of funny, like it looks like a sad face on here. I don't know if you can see that. You do get his grapple gun, which again is the same as the grapple guns we're used to seeing with this particular Batman. Now, one thing about this one is he doesn't have like a dedicated trigger hand, so it's not like the best grip I've ever seen for the grapple gun. But it does look really good. Pretty much, again, what we're used to seeing for this Batman. You can take it apart, so if you wanted to take the front off, you can definitely do that. And you can just have it in that two-piece construction. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a magnet or anything, so it's not going to magnetize to his belt. Alright, so the last accessory that you get with Batman here is going to be an extra cape. And this is going to be that flight cape that we see, and this is going to be a spoiler here. Toward the end of the movie, Batman basically has to ditch the Batwing, and he jumps out of it. And when he jumps out of it, he has this type of looking cape. So it's this more winged cape. So to replicate that scene, you do get this interchangeable cape. Now to get this on, you will have to take the head off, which comes off pretty good, and you can see the cape's just standing up here. So then you want to put this new cape on, and then you're just going to make sure that hole is lined up correctly, and then you'll just plug in the head sculpt. Alright, and here he is with the cape. And for the most part, I actually think it looks pretty cool. The movie version was kind of interesting because it didn't look like the cape that we saw in like Batman Returns. It was kind of, it sat lower, if that makes sense. It was kind of down lower on each side. So it is definitely unique to this movie. So I am glad that we got it. But in another sense, I wish we would have got like an interchangeable unmasked head. I think that would have been a lot cooler. And just taking a quick look at the cape without it being on Batman, you do have that wire, so you could fold the cape, and then you can like maneuver it or manipulate the cape however you want. So you might be able to get it to go around him a little bit, but yeah, you do have a little bit of articulation with the cape. Alright, so for the first comparison, here he is with the McFarlane Toys Batman figures, and these are also based off the Flash movie. And then you can see there's a huge size difference between them, unfortunately, meaning this Beast Kingdom figure is more in that 8-inch scale, whereas the McFarlane stuff and, of course, the NECA stuff is going to be in that 7-inch scale. Now, ironically, the unmasked McFarlane is taller than the masked version, so you figure that one out. The one thing I wanted to point out about these is I really like how the Beast Kingdom version just keeps it like black. Like it doesn't put this weird kind of aging to the boots. You can see the boots on both these versions are a little bit different. Now I should say that this head sculpt here is a custom done by my buddy Anthony Kane of Kane's Customs. The original head sculpt looks more like this. So shout out to him for making this look a little bit better. Here he is with the NECA Toys 1990 Raphael from the TMNT movie. And then you also have NECA Toys 1989 Batman from that classic movie. And again, you could definitely see how much bigger this Beast Kingdom is, than the NECA stuff. So definitely not going to be in that, 110 scale. He's just way too big. Here he is with a couple taller NECA Toys figures. Now these figures are meant to be towering over humans, so they will fit better with this Beast Kingdom figure, but they're meant to be much bigger than this Batman. So you have the Super Shredder from TMNT 2, the movie, Secret of the Ooze, and then you also have the classic Predator from the original Predator movie. That's a bit of a mashup of a battle damage Predator with a masked head sculpt. It's a really old NECA figure, but again, Predator should be like up here. So again, these will fit in terms of how big they are, but they're not in scale with each other. Here he is with some classic figures, and of course the Mezco 112 collective figure. You have the Kenner Dark Knight Collection Crime Attack Batman, then you have the Toy Biz 1989 Batman, and you can see they're vintage figures. Of course, they're a much smaller scale. Here's a quick family portrait of all those Michael Keaton Batmans. Here he is with the old Play Arts Kai Dark Knight Rises Batman, and you can see that the Play Arts Kai stuff was more in that 10-inch scale, so they're really big. Here he is with the Storm Collectibles Shao Kahn from the Mortal Kombat remake. Again, it's kind of like, you know, the Predator and the Super Shredder, where Shao Kahn's supposed to be a lot taller. So while these do fit in terms of like how big they are, they're not quite in scale together. Here he is next to the Marvel Legends Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and then you also have the Sergeant Slaughter from the G.I. Joe Classified line, and those are both in the 6-inch scale, and you can see again, he's much bigger. So I think one thing about Beast Kingdom that will discourage people is that they are in that kind of 8-inch scale. So not many figures out there, you know, you would think there isn't a lot out there anyway, will scale with it. But there are different figures out there that actually scale really well with this. So starting with the Trick or Treat Studios figures, their figures are definitely in that more 8-inch scale. So you do have one of the Killer Clowns, and that's slim. But Trick or Treat Studios makes a bunch of stuff now. They're more of like staction figures, but again, they will fit with Batman here. And then of course you have the NECA figures, and this is the retro line. So you got Jason from Part 6, you got Michael Myers based on Halloween 2, and then of course you have Elvira from Elvira Mistress of the Dark. And all of those look really good with this Batman, especially that Elvira. And then even the Ultimate Chucky, I do think this is too big for the regular NECA 7-inch scale line. I always thought he looked better with the retro stuff, so even Chucky looks pretty good with him. So, like I said, don't let the scale of the Beast Kingdom discourage you from buying it. It's a really great Michael Keaton Batman, so don't miss out. And then for the final comparison, here he is next to the only other Beast Kingdom figure I have in my collection, and that's the Darkwing Duck. And you can see that he is much, much bigger than Batman, but he is a really good quality figure, so I am happy with both of these. So really nice work by Beast Kingdom on these two. Alright, so that's my review of the Beast Kingdom Batman from The Flash. And overall, man, I gotta be honest, I'm really happy with this figure. I think they've done an exceptional job with the likeness, and the head sculpt in general looks fantastic. The articulation is really good. The outfit looks pretty accurate from what I could tell. You know, there's subtle things that I don't like about it, but it's more of like my criticisms with the outfit, not necessarily Beast Kingdom, because Beast Kingdom did a really nice job just capturing what he looks like. Truthfully, my only real knock about this figure is that you don't get an unmasked head sculpt with it. I do wish it was in 7-inch scale or 6-inch scale. I do think that would be cool, but knowing that I have other figures like the NECA Retro that will scale with this kind of makes up for it. And then if they make other characters, or if they make, you know, other versions of this Batman, you know, at least you have those to scale with them. So yeah, I mean, the scale, I guess, definitely could be one of the cons about it, but depending on your collection, you may not be that disappointed after all. I can't say enough how much I love this head sculpt in particular. As someone that collects a lot of Michael Keaton Batman stuff, I have a lot of different figures, so I could tell you who has the best ones, at least in my opinion, and who has the worst ones. And a lot of times the worst ones are the ones that articulate that cowl. It just looks so stupid. So if you're making a Batman figure and you can get this head sculpt right, like Beast Kingdom has, and like Hot Toys has, and Mezco, And even NECA, like the quarter scale, they sculpted an entire cowl and put it over top of fully sculpted head just to really sell the fact that it was that '89 Batman cowl. So, you know, for companies that put enough detail and enough, you know, interest into making it very accurate, I really salute them. So I do salute Beast Kingdom for this. Now, one thing I'll tell you about my reviews is I am very honest, and I've been vocal on Beast Kingdom in the past, especially with their Nightmare Batman and the '89 Batman, both of which I thought were terrible. Returns Batman was the one that I saw a little bit of promise on. It's not one that I had to have, and I still don't think it was the best figure they've made, but this Flash Batman is extremely good. I'm telling you right now, if you don't buy this and you're a Michael Keaton fan, you're really missing out, because this is an excellent figure. So thanks for watching my review. If you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you have a comment or question, leave that in the comments section below. I'd like to know what you think, and if you have any questions, go ahead and ask it. And until next time, guys, see ya.